This is ASS Breaking News.
Allah Akbar! Allah Akbar!
Good evening and Merry Schwanza to all of you at home tuning in. I'm Brock Jurgensen for an ASS News special report. We're joined by Andrew I see. I have just been informed by our producer that our interview with Andrew Tate has been canceled, as he has just been arrested in Romania along with his brother for over charges of human trafficking. So we are joined by his successor. And yes, they've already chosen a successor. Top A. Thank you, Top A, for joining us.
Let me just say something real quick here. Being top G means absolute jack shit. Being top G, what is that? Like the 13th letter in the alphabet? You got to be top A. Top A is number one. And top A means ass eating. So you got to be top A.
So now that you're the top.
Yeah, top A doesn't mean you're fucking bottom. There's no bottom here in top A. When you suck, look, listen, I gotta say, and top A philosophy right over here is that women are absolute dog shit. They have always been. That you have to be the man. And the man sucks dick standing up.
I was just going to ask what your plans were as top A. But no, please.
My plans as top A is to make sure that all of these soy boy little top G wannabes will actually be actual men. And actual men suck dick.
Is that a Bugatti behind you?
This is my Bugatti, of course, because I'm a fucking billionaire, not just a fucking like multi-millionaire like Top G like to say he was. No, I am a multi-billionaire. And as a multi-billionaire, I can have custom Bugattis as I want.
Is that a butt on the grill?
Of course, because top A does mean nothing but eating ass, because I'm top A.
Okay. Are you worried that you might be replaced by maybe a top B or top C, maybe a top D?
Nothing could top A. Nothing. If it's top B, that's the only second best. Top A is number one. Nothing can replace top A. Absolutely not.
But you'd even let me tell you who top C is.
Who's top C?
Candace.
Candace? Who the fuck is Candace?
And she
Damn it, Spencer.
and she replied by telling me her own email address. Greta's email address is myhousesilverbaker. How would that be her own email address?
I think there's something so unique about the LGBTQ community has become this phrase.
Allah Akbar!
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
What's going on, Habibis? I'm Siraj Hashmi.
I'm Jay Kobbe.
And we're the Habibi Bros. Welcome to another episode of Habibi Power Hour. Jay, how you doing? You have Afghani Cave internet.
Yes, I do. It's because I'm down in Florida. And for some reason, here in Florida, you got Afghani internet. Pakistani Afghani
exactly.
internet.
Now you know exactly how I feel.
Yes, I do.
So you can no longer make fun of me, right?
No, I can, because you choose to live in Florida with Becky internet. I mean, you can get better internet. The only problem with me as top A is that I got this really great place that I'm staying at right at the beach. And the problem is that this Cox internet is absolute dog shit. I got an Airbnb of a mansion, 530,000 square feet, right on the beach in Panama City.
I gotta say, I think the authorities in Romania got the wrong guy. I think there's your guy. This is the man you should be arresting. Look at him. I think it's a case of mistaken identity.
Absolutely. I mean, as you can see right here, this is the face of a human trafficker.
That's the last thing you see before your ass gets eaten. Habibis, before we get into the show, if you want to support and join our locals community, there's a link in the bottom, habibibros.locals.com. Use a promo code JemRubin69, which expires on December 31st, 2022. Until I renew it for another month.
Exactly right.
I work just like Congress, just pushing back kicking that can down the road, kicking that deadline. Yes. And of course, there are a lot of fun things like our premium locals chat during our shows. And when we're not actually doing the show, our Discord server, which is really just me adding everyone and blowing up your mentions for no reason.
Right. Well, I mean, that's my favorite thing, especially when I beat Carl. And the funny thing is,
because we have the fantasy football league.
Right. And I beat Carl like amazingly. And then the next game, I completely forgot we had Saturday games going on. So so I completely fucking fucked the next game. So there's no way I'm winning anymore. So I'm going for third place.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah, me too. But as long as I beat Carl and Carl sees like what a shit show my team actually is for him to lose to, I'm happy. I win. In my eyes,
yeah, you win. You won. Well, let's get into the news of this year because, was 2022 a doozy, Habibis? It was a year filled with current things left and right. Either you supported it or you opposed it. But no matter what happened, when something was in the news, it was indeed the current thing. And Jay, what do you think was the most current thing to ever become the current thing of 2022?
Ukraine, for sure. Ukraine was the most current thing. And one after another, when bills were passed and funding was passed and all that kind of stuff, it still became the current thing as it came through. And either it's the current thing that you supported and means you're a great guy, or you're an evil person who wants all Ukrainians to die because you didn't want to spend taxpayer money to fund Ukraine anymore. And it was that rhetoric that kept on persisting over and over again when it came to Ukraine, that was the most current thing of 2022.
It actually seems to me that I don't think there was really a current thing before Ukraine. It was in 2021, we didn't have really much of a current thing because I think the only thing everyone was focused on was January 6th. And that wasn't really the current thing. That was 2021 was the year our democracy almost ended, which oddly enough was Jay's birthday, January 6th, which is coming up, 2-year anniversary of your birthday, inshallah. But in 2022, everyone was just focused on being more tribal and more partisan and polarized, and nothing ever really changing. Now, I've had the opportunity to I joined another creator earlier this evening, Seamus Coughlin. We did a little bit of a recap on there, and I got to say, I think the one thing that came to mind when the whole invasion of Ukraine happened was, holy shit, they actually invaded Ukraine. They actually went through with it. All this time, I just keep thinking it's just like, brinkmanship, and they're not, they're just gonna issue threats. They're never gonna go through with it, and then they just did it. And whatever Ukraine has a hard line of not wanting to give up any territory to Russia, and they want to remain a sovereign country. Which, look, if you're a sovereign nation, like if you're Jay and you run Afghanistan, would you want to give up any territory to What's a good Chad?
No, you wouldn't. And the thing is like there's no doubt that like Russia is like a completely horrible country
No,
in
let me
all of
that. Would you want to give up if you're the president of Afghanistan? Would you want to give up any territory to Djibouti? Boom, there we go.
There you
Fixed
go.
it.
There it
Fixed
is.
it.
Hey, it happens.
Hey,
you
I
just
gotta
gotta work it a
start
little bit.
drinking. That's all that means. I gotta start drinking.
That's what you got to do. You do. And look, and it's really they always put it as like one way or another. And they go to the extreme when it comes to Ukraine, where they want to say that like Ukraine is saving democracy. Ukraine is the bastion of what freedom looks like. Ukraine is, if Ukraine falls, democracy all over the world loses, and all that kind of stuff. So it's like, if you don't support Ukraine, you don't support freedom and democracy, which is absolute dog shit, because Ukraine in and of itself is one of the most corrupt governments in the world.
And we're going to slowly learn that Romania might be one of the even more corrupt governments. Actually, it's funny that this whole Andrew Tate thing happens because we literally there's a recent quote by Andrew Tate of why he lives in Romania, and that's because he can access the corrupt political system there easier than he can anywhere else.
Right.
Which just gives the game away.
No, it does.
Go ahead, Jed.
And like all of Eastern Europe is pretty corrupt as fuck. It really is. Eastern Europe reminds me of like Lebanon. Lebanon is a very corrupt country, like in your face corrupt, and they like to pretend like there's like freedom of elections and people can vote for who they want and all that kind of stuff, which is complete bullshit, because you have Hezbollah that is right there with an AK-47 in your face saying like how you should vote and where you should vote. And not only that, they actually have an AK-47 to the face of the government itself. And it's the same thing that you see in Romania. You have Romanian mafias and gang members and all that kind of stuff controlling what happens in the government. And you have the same thing happening what's going on in Ukraine. And us sending billions of dollars to Ukraine is not saving democracy here in the United States. It's not doing anything. When they talk about how it's saving the national interest, if Ukraine ever fell to Russia, if Russia took over Ukraine, what national interest are we losing with Ukraine? What national what trade do we have with Ukraine? What resources do we have with Ukraine?
Aren't they like one of the leading exporters of, is it wheat?
Russian whores?
Oh, Ukraine definitely. Number one, Russian whores, and then two, maybe wheat or grains. I can't recall.
Wheat or grains? I mean, even if
that's just the name of the Ukrainian whores, grain and wheat.
It's wheat, grain and wheat. That's what it is. I mean, we get nothing actually
and maybe natural
from
gas.
Ukraine that justifies what we're giving to them to call it a national interest. And look, I know this, like, especially to the cowards like David French and all that kind of shit, is going to sound like really harsh and evil and offensive and all that kind of stuff. But at the end of the day, when we're using taxpaying money and money that we are putting into the government, it needs to be used for the benefit of the United States and the American citizens themselves. There is nothing.
We got people literally freezing to death in Buffalo, New York, because of the horrific blizzard happening there. Because the homelessness has not gotten any better, and we're sending, at this point, getting to trillions of dollars, billions to almost trillions of dollars to Ukraine. For what? So that Ukraine can be the number one exporter in Russian whores?
No, that's what it is.
But honestly, that's something worth fighting for, right, Jay?
Well, as long as you're eating their ass, yes. And it's just they try to stop the conversation of what are we really doing with Ukraine and helping Ukraine by saying that you are a Russian asset or you're a Russian, spokesperson or whatever, trying to start this type of conversation on this insane spending we're doing for Ukraine. And they like to yeah, we don't have any soldiers there, or we don't have any like boots on the ground or anything like that. But at the end of the day, we would never need to have boots on the ground. For what reason? Where is the reason? Humanity, like saying all this, that's absolute bullshit. Even stating it that way is bullshit. Look at what we did to Iraq. Look at what we were doing with the UN when the Rwanda genocide happened, when the Bosnian genocide happened, when all of these fucking things happened. We didn't step up one bit on anything whatsoever. But the current president of the current thing had a current son who had a current dealing with the current Ukrainians, and all this shit is being funneled into Ukraine right now.
You want to see what the current tweet is, Jay?
Let me see it.
This comes from Red Steez, who writes, Andrew Tate is currently giving a live interview.
It's the perfect screenshot. Jesus.
Oh, it's too good. It's too good. For all the Habibis who are currently watching on YouTube, this is the time where we are going to end the stream on YouTube, and you can go ahead into the description and click on that link to watch the rest of the stream on Rumble, where we will be exclusive, and we'll see you over there. Now that that's out of the way,
We can go ahead and do it. Hold on.
we can finally do it. It's happening.
I need to do it slowly.
It's getting too hot there for you, Jay.
It is. The great thing about being in Florida is the weather right now is absolutely amazing. And
It's perfect.
God, I gotta move out here. I really do. Even though I live in California, like being here in Florida is like a different it's a different vibe. It's a different environment. It's honestly where we need to be as the United States as a whole. Inshallah.
Yes. Make America Florida.
Make America Florida.
It really is. Honestly, people have been shitting on Florida too much. Just come down to Florida. You'll see why everyone who actually lives here loves it.
Yeah.
I mean, sure, you have your fair share of like Jay eating the occasional alligator ass, but like beyond that.
Honestly, I gotta try
it. Yeah, I mean, they don't call them gators for nothing, Jay. Gay doors. Okay, so let's go through some of the stories that happened this year besides Russia invading Ukraine. I think the biggest one besides all of that is Roe v. Wade being overturned, which is maybe one of the most consequential Supreme Court decisions, at least in our lifetime, Jay, just because of the social impact and also how those within like the corporate media basically outed themselves as activists because of how much they support killing babies.
Right. I mean, it's amazing when you see something like this happen. You really see the bias that comes from the media, because they're not being objective when it came to the reasoning and when it came to the decision on overturning Roe v. Wade whatsoever. They don't. When it comes to anything to do with the Constitution and federalism and state rights and all that kind of stuff, they have a blind eye because they all believe that the federal government needs to control the whole country, all of the states whatsoever. They don't believe in states' rights when it comes to these type of issues. and we saw that over and over again with the different kind of articles that came out, opinion pieces, and also them amplifying people who wanted to demonize the Supreme Court and try to say that the Supreme Court is delegitimized. And what they're doing when they do that kind of stuff is that they are denying the election that happened in 2016. So when they call people election deniers and turn around and say that the Supreme Court right now is not legitimate with the people that they put in place, they are denying the election that happened in 2016. And then they want to turn around and try and demonize anyone who questions the 2020 election.
Right. In fact, that's what's so wild about all of it. You once you see it, you can't unsee it. And I'm actually surprised by anyone who hasn't been radicalized at this point. In fact, it's like one of those things where, better late than never when it comes to like at least adopting the worldview that is, what you and I, Jay, tend to focus most of our time on. But if for anyone who's like only just now seeing it, you better have been like just started paying attention to politics, like being a teenager, or like you have no excuse. I I know that there are very few people who like legitimately just never paid attention until like say COVID. I know several people like that.
Yeah.
I know one of my colleagues, Gigi, I referenced her. You met Gigi.
Yeah.
She never really paid attention to politics, and by the way, happy birthday, Gigi. She only started paying attention during COVID. And her husband was way more in tune to politics, and he was obviously very based, but she just was very apathetic. I feel like COVID was obviously like people talk about it being the Great Reset. I think of it as like the Great Awakening. People just finally waking up to the amount of bullshit that's happening in our society. And honestly, it kind of goes back to this whole Andrew Tate story about him getting arrested in Romania on charges of human trafficking. I don't know the full story, but you can't tell me that it doesn't seem at least a little bit suspect that he goes after Greta Thunberg, or he trolls Greta Thunberg on a Wednesday, and then the next day he's arrested on charges of human trafficking. That doesn't sound like at least a little bit suspect to you?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, at the end of the day, we're going to find out that Greta Thunberg is a lizard people that controls the whole fucking state.
Well, she's a World Economic Forum. She's a puppet of the World Economic Forum, plain and simple.
No, she is. She is. Well, and it's not just her. They prop her up and use it. Like, this person is retarded, like legitimately retarded. Has Asperger's, is not like mentally fully aware and all that kind of stuff. And you have fucking people who should know better in the media who are propping her up like some fucking second coming of Jesus and shit. And like this is where people are waking up more and more. They did the same thing with Fauci when they were talking about COVID and everything. And then in 2022, here with the current thing that was in the past, which was COVID, we're finding out that a lot of the stuff that they were telling us was absolute horseshit. Like almost 100% of it was horseshit. The beginning of it where they were saying like you have to be 6 feet. The beginning of it where they were saying that the masks do anything to stop COVID. The beginning of it where they're saying like kids are getting it like in horrible form and we have to close down schools. And then at the end with the vaccine, talking about how the vaccine was going to be 100% was going to make it essentially
every time we say the magic words,
non-transmissible.
Every time we say the magic words, you got to drink. I say essentially, Jay says 100%, and vice versa. So
yes. So all the Habibis watching right now, it's called the Habibi Power Hour for a reason. It's a power hour because we drink. So every time you hear the magic words, essentially in 100%, you take a sip of your drink.
Essentially.
100%.
God. What are you drinking tonight, Jay?
Angels Envy. And the funny thing is,
Oh.
Angels Envy here.
Alhamdulillah.
Let's
go.
Mashallah. The Angels Envy here is more expensive than it is over in California.
It's cheaper or more expensive?
More expensive.
Okay.
Well, I just think there's more of a liquor tax here, but you get to save a lot more of your money at the end of the day here anyway. So,
all right.
I don't mind.
So to end the year of 2022, the current thing is Andrew Tate, and he was very much a big part of 2022, and he should owe Jay a lot to his success because without. Hold on, let's solo Jay here. Let's move me around and let's look at that. Can we zoom in on that? Yeah, that's like, yeah. Can you not tell? You can't tell me that those two aren't the same people. You can't tell me that.
The funny thing about that is, like, over in Dubai, you can actually rent a Bugatti pretty easily.
Be that as it may, let's get back to what I actually was trying to show everyone, and that is because Andrew Tate is the current thing. Who is that?
Oh my god! Oh my god! Here we go.
Oh my goodness! Look who's here.
Oh, see, this is what top A looks like.
Top A.
This is what top A looks like.
What
right
a pleasant surprise!
Yeah, right here.
Merry Christmas.
Happy New Year, Habibis. I am here to tell all his girlfriend all the things she needs to know to make an informed decision about her future.
My mom knows all of it. She knows what it is to be top G. She raised the top G. That's a queen right there. So the best
Top
thing for my
A.
girlfriend to do is talk to the top A right there.
Top A. It's beautiful. You'll love to see it.
Merry Christmas, Habibis. Happy New
Merry
Year.
Christmas. Oh man, Jay, are you embarrassed enough yet?
Not at all.
Good, because you can tell me you can blink twice if they're threatening you. And his screen froze.
Did it really?
Yeah, it literally froze as you blinked. That was good. That's so
That's too good. That's fucking
good.
hilarious. Hopefully it comes back.
Getting back to the subject at hand, here's Andrew Tate trolling Greta Thunberg. And he basically says, I have 33 cars. My Bugatti is a 8-liter quad turbo. My 2 Ferraris, V12s. This is just a start. Please provide your email address so I can send a complete list of my car collection and respective enormous emissions. To which Thunberg responded, yes, please do enlighten me. Email me at smalldickenergy@getalife.com. Jay, she stole my email address. That's mine. You know how many emails I'm getting now?
That's actually pretty good. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. That's a pretty good fucking comeback right there. Not bad whatsoever. From
really?
Well, yeah. Well,
why is her email address Small Dick Energy?
That's not her email address.
That's my email address, Jay. How dare she?
That is
literally Islamophobia.
Absolutely, 100%. I agree with you 100%.
Thank you. Essentially.
Oh fuck.
You kind of did this to yourself, Jay. Let's be honest.
I do all the time.
You insisted, huh?
It's Cookie on Rumble is asking whose mom. That was my mom.
That's his mom.
Am I still frozen?
Honey, you're the boyfriend that I brought home.
We now have an update from Red Steve saying, update, live interview with Andrew Tate has now been removed from YouTube. I love how retarded our show is.
It's too good. It's too good.
Okay. Getting back into it, we were on about Roe v. Wade and how it was overturned. I don't know if we ever really got to talk about how underreported the attempted assassination on Brett Kavanaugh was, because holy shit, if it had literally been anyone else on the liberal justices, it would be top
like
one story. It'd be the top A story, Jay.
Top A 100%. And the fact
Essentially.
that we barely had to
Oh yeah, sorry. Essentially.
the fact that we had only like 2 days worth of stories over it is absolute fucking garbage. And they wouldn't even talk about the rhetoric against the conservative justices and against conservatives in general, because it would totally backtrack on what they're trying to completely blame on
backfire?
Only 100% conservative rhetoric. Oh.
Essentially.
And it's fucking hilarious to me because from day one, politic rhetoric has always been like, they're your enemy, they're going to destroy you, they're going to take your livelihood, from both sides. And now they want to pretend like there's only one side that is speaking this way, is absolute fucking garbage. And I think 2022 has really awakened more and more people to the fact that the media in of itself is nothing but a propaganda fucking engine to the government as a whole. I'm not just talking about it to the left side, and the left side is more prominent when it comes to media, but both sides use the media to completely fucking manipulate you as much as they can. They use it. These people are friends, actual friends to people in the government. Not only friends, they also contribute to the campaigns of these people. And at the end of the day, there is nothing you can really trust when it comes to political reporting from mainstream media. And mainstream media means like from Fox, from MSNBC, from CNN, and it completely unraveled and showed us that they are pieces of fucking garbage. And I say it always. I'd say it to their faces. I get banned off of Twitter for talking for naming them exactly what they are. And
what's honestly, that, Jay? What are they? Who are they, Jay?
Little bitch clowns.
Alhamdulillah. This is what you got banned. This is what you got banned on Twitter. At least like what? At least 7 out of those 14 times you got banned, right?
And half of those times was calling Brian Stelter a little bitch clown.
This is quite a bit. But it's also understatement because he really is.
He is.
So, knowing that Roe v. Wade has basically been overturned, I think it's interesting that at least in it's been like at least 6 months since they overturned Roe v. Wade. I would expect it to have. I would have expected a lot more outrage, at least ongoing.
I think we saw a little bit of it, especially in the midterms when it came to messaging and it came to candidates and stuff, and also mail-in voting. But I still think like a lot of it came to the messaging of those type of issues, and the messaging was not coherent, and it wasn't proper, and it wasn't pushed right, because we had everyone in the media talking about how Roe v. Wade was going to completely ban abortion all over everywhere in all of the United States, which was absolute horseshit and not true.
Right. So they basically try to paint this picture that The Handmaid's Tale actually came to life, and that you were forced to give birth to babies that, this is so funny, the logic that they go to make this leap. They tell you that you're now forced to have children, but what they're not telling you is that you need to have sex. You need to have sex first in order to be forced to carry a child.
Right.
So,
but the funny thing is, the real funny thing is like when you see that argument as a whole, they are admitting that you're killing a child. From saying you're forced to have a baby, they're admitting that you're supposed to have a life, that you're supposed to have a baby born. That type of argument in and of itself is completely destroying everything that they're saying that a fetus is not.
Which they say is not a real human. It's not a right. That's their logic.
That's their logic, that it's not a real human baby. But at the end of the day, they're saying that you're forced to have a baby. You're forced to have a child. So they're admitting that the fetus
is a child.
Is a baby. Is a child.
Did you just call the fetus as a bagel?
Well, honestly, I'm kind of hungry.
And I see some gigantic peaches behind you.
Right. When it's still a fetus, you can spread it on a piece of bread.
That would be pretty good. Okay. Well, what were some of the other stories that we? Oh, you also mentioned the midterms. We thought like I know that some people thought it was going to be a red wave, and there was a part of me that thought it may have been a red wave, but I was very, very. I was hedging my bets because I know for a fact the Republicans are so good at punching themselves in the dick that they would not be able to get past the finish line, which is basically what happened. Like, I don't know how you lose. Like, honestly, how much Republicans got to be fucking. Look, I don't know. Regardless of what you think any of these elections were rigged, which there's probably a case to be made that pretty much all of them are. But look at Pennsylvania. Even if that shit wasn't rigged and it was, John Fetterman won that fair and square. How the fuck do you lose to John Fetterman? Seriously. How the fuck? Well, like Katie Hobbs in Arizona, like she was a Secretary of State. She ran the election that she was running in, which is bullshit. That should never happen. But John Fetterman is basically a Biden incarnate, brain dead piece of shit. And I literally brain dead, has a stroke, can't read shit. Basically, his wife's going to become the senator. And that's how they get that it's the mail-in voting. That's what it is. It's them counting votes before everything is brought to light, before you have actual fucking debates, before you have any of that kind of stuff happening. There's the mail-in voting, and I think we have a very I think it's the female voting, Jay. I think it's the female voting. Why do the males get blamed? Why do the males get blamed for the voting? Should be female voting.
Yeah,
not mail-in voting,
but female in voting. Absolutely right. I think you're 100% right.
Essentially.
But we continue to see the problems when it comes to mail-in voting and how we allow people to vote as early as possible, and then we don't count all the votes until like 5 days after the election and everything that happens. We need to put into place that we have one day of voting.
Mm-hmm.
Those votes are counted within one to 2 days after it's done.
How about this? Not even 1 to 2 days. Why don't you do this, Jay? 1 day of voting, make it a national holiday, and everything is paper ballots. No mail-in, none of that shit. If you can't make it to the polls, tough titties.
That's it. And then even if we wanted to say that mail-in voting would be a thing, you cannot have mail-in voting happening 5 days, a week after. I mean, they were still counting fucking California votes like fucking 4 weeks ago. They were still counting them.
I just don't understand.
Ridiculous. Well, when you understand it, it's that the elections are complete pieces of shit. It's broken down. It's not working. It's complete fucking garbage. And we need to make sure that when you are having voting, It's in person. It's with your ID. It is whether or not you own land, and it's whether or not you have a penis, and then you're able to vote. And that's it. That's how voting needs to happen.
The way the founding fathers, the way the founding bubbas intended.
Exactly.
Okay, so what else do we have? People have talked endlessly about like the Twitter files. We've done that. We don't need to talk about that stuff. Let's talk about some old stuff, okay? Let's talk about CNN, because CNN, the current thing with CNN was that they had a just an absolute phenomenal year. CNN, the brand, I mean, not like the actual personalities on CNN. CNN, the brand, has a little less dirt on it now at the end of the year than it did at the beginning of the year. And it happened because Jeff Zucker was fired, as well as Brian Stelter, and CNN Plus, sat around for 2 weeks before it finally wrapped up.
Yeah.
Jay, I'm so relieved that people who have been gaslighting us for so long are finally getting what's due to them. And
right.
It's just a matter of time before Shia Rashik, libs of TikTok, replaces Taylor Lorenz as the internet's most hated person, because honestly, can you tell the two apart? I can't.
No, I can't either. They look very similar to one another. She finally revealed herself to on Tucker Carlson.
Yeah, and she did a good job on there. But it's honestly, it's look at this. There's Taylor Lorenz on the right, and there's Shia Rashik on the left. Can you tell? Have you seen those two people in the same room at the same time?
You're right. And look at what Taylor Lorenz is saying. Like, look at the tweet underneath. This is why we cannot have real discussions, and why people in the media need to be shown for what they are. She is saying that lives with TikTok is saying that gays shouldn't exist, people shouldn't exist, and all that kind of shit. And it's not what is going on whatsoever. Look, there are religious beliefs that in the United States that you should absolutely respect and have. But what Libs TikTok is showing what is going on in classrooms, what's going on in society, what's going on in all this type of stuff that is well beyond, fucking a guy in the ass.
It's so ridiculous, Jay. She is literally Libs of TikTok's biggest crime is showing people, is basically amplifying the message of the left, of those on TikTok. That is her crime. People hate her for that.
There's a difference between adults consenting on something and feeding children in classrooms absolute fucking horse shit. Like absolute fucking dog shit. People in classrooms in the United States right now, you cannot have an American flag in the United States classroom, but you can have fucking rainbow flags. You can have fucking teachers who don't know what the fuck they're talking about, telling you that you can be whatever if you want to be a unicorn with a dick on your head, you can chop your dick off and plant it on it. They
on your forehead.
Absolute breakdown on Western society, starting on children, and they're doing it on purpose. And
so hold on, Jay. Jay, it's by design.
Drink.
You got to drink to that. Ultimately, Jay, you know what this is all about, and you're getting right on it. It's all about the destruction of America and destruction of the family, which leads to destruction of society, which leads to destruction of the country. How do you do that? You do that by going after the kids, and you indoctrinate them first because they are the most impressionable. And by having, it's literally, Jay, I don't want to like it seems so like derivative to like mention anything in this regard, but it's exactly like Hitler Youth. It's the quote, give me your child for 7 years and I'll have them for life. Like that is exactly what they're trying to do. They're indoctrinating kids. And in many cases, the fact that they've given so much cover to pedophiles and the grooming culture shows me that Eliza Blue, who is a Habibti of the show, she's a good friend of the show. She was really onto something when she and I first met online, and that there is a legitimate pedo agenda. And the pedo agenda is literally, I can't even fully explain it because if you know, you know, right? And Jay, I feel like you know. But basically, there's simply just people out there who want to diddle kids, and like that's exactly what they're trying to do. Is trying to preserve their right to diddle kids.
Right, and you see it with these, drag queen read hours and drag queen drag shows and all this strip shows and all this type of stuff that are happening with little elementary kids. These kids, look, when you're teaching like from 1 to 8th grade, even 1 to 12th grade, all you need to be teaching is the fundamentals of science, mathematics, and literature. That's it. Not dumb shit about what it is to be a fucking man or social constructs or all these fucking ideas that are not even supposed to be given to children who can't even think for them fucking selves.
And just this year alone, Jay,
they were trying to say that doing the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag is indoctrinating children, but we cannot fucking talk about how having these stupid fucking trans flags and pride flags and LGBTQ flags and talking about gender identity and all this type of stuff is indoctrinating children.
It's well, yeah, that's the thing. It goes both ways, right? You think, but again, it doesn't. If you live in the United States with almost like, if you are trying to teach kids to love their country that they live in, how is it indoctrination to teach them the Pledge of Allegiance, to teach them the national anthem? Sure, because when they get older, they may not love America the way they probably used to, but at the very least, they were given at least the opportunity to see what the benefits were in living in the country that they're currently living. If you don't love the country that you're currently living in, why the fuck are you there? There's no, you have the freedom to get the fuck out. Exactly. I know that sounds harsh, but seriously, if you don't like where you live and you have the means to get out, what is stopping you from getting out? What is stopping you? There are tons of people who have left. And I'm not even talking about like people who immigrated to this country, they don't like it and they go back. I'm talking about people who were born in this country and they grew up hating this country, and yet they still continue to live in this country. Why the fuck are they still here?
Right. It's
hilarious. You want to know what? You want to know one big thing that has to do it? It's because other countries' immigration laws are tougher than ours.
No, that's exactly what it is. But not only that, like, for example, your dad and my dad, they would not get where they are and who they are without being here in the United States. They wouldn't have. With the opportunities given to them that the United States is able to provide them, they wouldn't get it. And that's what you see a lot of. You see immigrants coming here, loving this country, and then, second generation, first generation, second generation, everything being indoctrinated by the schooling here completely fucks them up compared to what their immigrant fathers were experiencing, or immigrant parents were experiencing here. And you're seeing it more and more. You see a lot of these immigrants that are here completely disgusted by what's happening with our educational system, disgusted by what is being taught to their children. And we're supposed to sit back and say that they have no rights in talking about what's going on in the classrooms.
No, it's insane, absolutely insane. And it again, they can dish it, but they can't take it. And I also, speaking of dishes, look, Jay, your dish of baby bagel just arrived. Thanks to the locals chat. I believe it was cold beer 69. Thank you, locals. If you'd like to be a supporter of our locals, there's a link in the description
Yeah, this
below.
is the best way to do it.
Yeah. That's how you see it.
That's the best way to push it right now.
Yeah, it was Cold Beer 69. Fetus equals bagel, according to Jay. That's what the caption was. Thank you, Cold Beer. No, so Jay, look, I get that.
Just make sure Yee doesn't see that image.
Yeah, make sure Yee doesn't see that. He's gonna cry tears and probably issue a fatwa on you at this point. Okay. What I was gonna say, Jay, was that look, I understand that there are a lot of conservatives and people who are independent and more free thinking, who don't like the direction that our country is heading in, and that's okay. I'm not saying that they have to leave this country. A lot of these people love this country, and they just hate that they're seeing the direction that this country is going in. What I am saying is that there are I would argue that there are tons more people on the left who specifically hate America, everything it stands for, from all the institutions, even if all the institutions work in their favor, because at this point they've all been co-opted by the left and they've all been corrupted. But if you think about it, Jay, despite everything, they hate this country because of what it represents. And what it represents is, in essence, liberty. It's freedom. It's allowing people to think what they want to think. It's allowing people to do what they want to do, so long as they're not harming anyone else. And it allows people to believe whatever they want to believe, practice whatever religion, or not practice any religion that they want to practice. And to people like the socialist Marxists of the left, Jay, that is just, in order to control with an unwielding, unflinching, unquestionable fist of power, Jay, they can't have any of that shit. They can't have any of it. They could have a little bit of this. They'll jerk us around a bit, but they will not have they will rule with an iron fist, if you catch my meaning.
Yes.
So I know Jay's coming in a little fuzzy right now, and I want to remind the viewers at home that as drunk as Jay gets, so does his webcam.
Yes, absolutely. And because I'm here on vacation, just so you guys know, this is my second bottle.
Alhamdulillah. Wonderful. I know we weren't able to basically get through every single story, but let's talk about some of the big ones in 2022 that we forgot that happened. One, can you believe that the mask mandate ended this year? That felt like ages ago. Specifically the mask mandate on the airlines. That was the one. Right.
And you had people like Taylor Lorenz, who is a prominent media journalist at Washington Post, breaking down as if the world was going to end. Mm-hmm. And then how the fuck are we supposed to sit here and say that these people were unbiased and giving us exact truths when it came to knowing exactly what COVID was, how to fight against it, what you can do to save yourselves over against it, and all that kind of stuff. And the fact that it ended now is insane to me, that it ended 2 years after that was concepted, because we found out earlier that masks really didn't do jack shit. They weren't protecting you. Did someone say concepted? 100%.
Essentially.
No, but it goes to show that the term experts, the term, officials, all that kind of stuff is absolute dog shit here in 2022 and beyond. They were not giving us any fucking truth whatsoever. And we had policies run that would to coincide with what they were saying. They were saying the vaccine was 100%. So that people lost their jobs. 100%. People lost their jobs if they didn't get the vaccine. Right. Because they were saying the vaccine would prevent the spread of COVID 100%. That was not true. Fuck.
God, you're gonna kill us.
They closed down schools for 2 years because they were saying that the vaccine would 100% stop.
Essentially, God damn it, Jay. God, you're literally. I think you're doing this intentionally now.
Fuck. No, because I'm way fucking overboard. But we had policies dictated over what these so-called experts were saying, and it destroyed the economy. It destroyed the childhood development for 2 fucking years, elementary. And
that's something kids. Actually a report that came out this year as well.
Destroyed families, closed down businesses forever, and we are still, the media is still running stories as if experts mean anything whatsoever other than the agenda and narrative that they're trying to push.
Yeah.
And we are not holding any of these people responsible, and it's fucking garbage.
And you know what's really sad, Jay? Horseshit. You know what's really sad is that I feel like it's actually not going to get any better. In spite of instead of Republicans controlling the House in 2023 in the next Congress, I don't think they're going to do much to hold any of these people accountable because they're effectively in on it.
Right. That's what it is, because it's all by design.
Yeah. It's by the. Oh, yeah. Sorry. Got a drink. On Rumble, Tony Baloney says, so I randomly clicked on a channel and ended up in the Blue Oyster Club, LMAO. Hold on. What's the Blue Oyster Club? Do you know what that is, Jay?
No.
Club or cult? Looks like club. Maybe Blue Oyster Bar. Is it a gay bar? It's got to be a gay bar. Oh, hold on. hold on. Let's the Blue Oyster Bar, the notorious neighborhood gay biker bar in the Police Academy movies. Oh, that's where we are. That's where we are, Jay. How you holding up?
I'm good.
You have to go. You have to go up in 10 minutes. You have to leave in 10 minutes. So let's get to our favorite segment of Ask Us Anything. So Ask Us Anything, Habibis. Go ahead, hit us up in the chat. Of course, we got our premium locals chat. Do we have any questions in the locals chat that I didn't check out yet? Spencer, can you help a brother out? I am.
Yeah,
it's been a long day. It's been a long day, and I'm not seeing straight.
I'm here with my mom's family right now too. We're here in Florida, having a nice family reunion. I haven't seen these guys in like 6-7 years. And what's really funny, you saw Michelle. She's white with blue eyes, and it looks like. And my mom's white with green blue eyes too. Mm-hmm. And what's funny is instead of me bringing her to see the family, it looks like she's bringing me to see the family because everybody over here is white with blue eyes. Okay. I'm like the only brown person here.
It's honestly, you and I are two peas in a pod because it's exactly what it's like going back to see my family. I am a VAP. I am a WAP, a white ass Pakistani. White ass Pakistani because I look at me, sir. Look at how white I am. I am so white.
You are white.
So Super Ting on Rumble says, what about the biolabs in Ukraine? Yes, we didn't even get a chance to expound on that. Look how quickly they covered that shit up. Remember all the hearings that they had in like 2014 with like Victoria Nuland?
And then that just suddenly stopped.
And that just disappeared. That just went away.
Yeah, that was gone in like fucking two seconds in the terms of like what the media goes through. We barely even had like 2 days of it.
Yeah. And what's so odd is that like this is how This is how quickly the media runs to run. They run cover, and then I guess this is the biggest takeaway here is that the media is no longer holding, basically speaking truth to power. They are the ones who are trying to speak truth for power, and they just do a fucking awful job at it. So look, this is an NPR story from March 25th in which they write how the false Russian biolab story came to circulate among the US far right. This is National Public Radio. These people used to be so critical of the government, especially when the person who was in charge was a Republican. Yet all they do is provide cover for the Democratic Party. It's insane. Everything
No,
about
it
it
is.
just seems incestuous.
And no, absolutely. And the fact that we still have government funds that go to a media company is garbage. You're not supposed to have any influence whatsoever of government within media. You cannot trust a media component that is being funded by the government. You can't.
No, you
and
can't.
if you do, you're retarded.
Although I don't know how much government funding NPR actually gets. I heard it's actually somewhat minimal. In spite of that, cut that funding off and then see how they react. But of course, they'll never do that in the Biden administration.
Nope, that's not going to happen.
Not going to happen. I love this new. I've been seeing this all over Rumble. This is actually really funny. Kevin and ABQ says, "Pound that plussy, people," and I imagine the plussy is the plus button to upvote the video. Pound that plussy.
Pound it, baby.
Spencer in the private chat says we didn't talk about FBI shit year. FBI did have a pretty shitty year. What from basically being outed as what's it called? Funding all of Twitter's censorship campaigns against people within making jokes about the 2020 presidential election. Hold on.
Is he there? Is he there?
Oh God.
Oh God,
buddy.
Oh my God. Here we go. There he is.
Hi, buddy. Hey, buddy. How you doing? Look who's here. It's Ernie. Look who's here. It's the
That
buddy.
is Ernie.
You think
That
we would
is
end
the
this
buddy.
year with no Ernie? He's here. The king.
You got to. You got to. End it with the king, the sheikh.
He wanted to make sure he saw all the Habibis before we ended 2022. So you get Ernie in all his glory. Look at him. Look at him.
Just a beautiful, beautiful king.
And you too, Jay, can come see him if you just made that drive.
Why didn't you make the drive down here?
Because I have a full house.
Yeah.
So the FBI had a terrible year, and Ernie interrupted it, which makes me think that Ernie might be a plant for the FBI.
Yeah, he could be an informant. That's what it is.
Ernie, you obviously love the FBI. We know that.
Mm-hmm.
Which is fascinating because he got rejected by the FBI training school, the K9 training school.
Right. Was it because he was?
Spencer, was the gymnast Larry Nassar stuff really this year in 2022? I don't believe it.
I think it was. I mean, there was a lot of shit that happened this year that I think it was.
Oh, Jay, you know what's great? Now that we're coming up on the new year, you know what I can finally do? Send those New Year earn postcards.
Oh my God, from 2018.
Oh wow, that was, what was that? Does that say June?
Yeah, June 2022. They sued the FBI for mishandling.
Wow.
And hopefully they get it because fuck the FBI.
Yeah, fuck the FBI. I hope that defunds them entirely, although they'll probably just take that out of the Ukraine pension.
Oh my God.
So
anyway, what's $1 billion to almost $1 trillion?
What a buddy.
Mm.
So, Habibis, I hope you all have a very happy new year. I hope you have a great rest of your holidays with your families. And if you are celebrating alone, that's okay because Jay and I, we're your family. You want to know why, Jay?
Absolutely.
You want to know why,
Because we're
Jay?
family.
Because
Because we're family.
Because we're family.
Absolutely.
So, Spencer, hop in here, say hello before we head out of here.
What's good, everyone?
Spencer is our
Don't forget
producer.
to like, share, subscribe, all that fun shit.
Spencer, who is by far the worst producer known to man. Thank you so much for putting this stuff together, writing down all those topics, despite the fact that only like 2 of them got covered.
They were good too. They were good too. This year was crazy. Like
SPF and FTX. I know we didn't get a chance to talk about that. All of Biden's failures, which there were many.
Tune in next week because we'll probably cover all that fun stuff because that's when because that's when the plea deal will come out for the FTX.
Oh, FTX. I thought you were just talking about other stories in general. I'd say the biggest news dump of the year was Amber Heard and Johnny Depp's bed.
Oh yeah,
I forgot
absolutely.
about that.
That was devastating. That was devastating.
That's crazy. This was a crazy year.
Yeah, it was.
Definitely.
All right, Habibis. Before he starts making out with Erd.
For the Habibi Bros, I'm Siraj Hashmi.
I'm Jay Kobbe.
And this is the Earn. We're the Habibi Bros. We'll see you next year on the BB Power Hour. Peace it. Mesadama.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.